Hi everyone, I'm Josh and welcome to Josh Wright Piano TV. Thank you so much for joining me today. I wanted to share a concept about momentum in music related to note values. This is something we've never covered before, but I've been seeing that it's been helping a few of my private students, and I wanted to share those concepts with each of you today. If we take a look at the Canzoni Danza, number 6 by Federico Mompou, M-O-M-P-O-U. I'll play a little bit of this. Obviously, a very free piece, lots of rubato, the pushing and pulling of time. But students can often wonder, well, how do I know where to push and pull? And often I'll tell students things like, you'll learn it over time as you listen to good recordings of people who use a lot of rubato. You can kind of get a sense of that. I've also given the advice in some of my videos, start from baseline, so start from metronome, and work out to a more free interpretation. But I felt like something was still missing from that advice. And as I was teaching this piece to one of my students, something kind of came to me, something that all of us know inherently, I think, intuitively, but that is often not put into words. It is the character that shorter notes bring more momentum, and the character that longer notes can slow down momentum. Of course, if we put a metronome to this, let's just open up my metronome app here. Ba-da-da-pum, bum-pum-pa-ta-dum. So that's about 63. So if we just do... It's a little fast, to be honest, on the on the long values, and it's a little slow on the short values. And right there, just that realization can start to help you have the realization that, hey, these shorter note values, they're not just 3 notes per click, or if they're a eighth note triplet, in this case we're in 4/4 time, so 3 eighth note triplets equaling 1 beat, or a duple, or in other words, just a group of 2 eighth notes, or a dotted quarter note being a click and a half, or a half note being 2 full clicks. It's not just a mathematical calculation. Those shorter note values can inherently move the music forward, and those longer note values can inherently pull the music back. So if you're wondering, where can I push and pull my time in music? I'm having a hard time developing a good sense of rubato, a good sense of momentum. Look at that. So if we start again from baseline, click, 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 click. What we're going to do is we are going to stretch those long values at the end to be a little bit more held back, a little bit more relaxed, subdued, resolved. And we are going to let the shorter note values push a little bit more. Okay, so you have to be careful not to just rush your short values. It still needs to overall feel pretty organic. So what I like to do is take a little bit of time as I start my short values. Time, then go. Time, then go. And then take a lot of time. Same thing here. Everything is always circular as well. I don't want to do any sudden moves like that. Similarly, if you push the tempo forward, you need to pull it back a little bit. So even within a triplet, there can be a slight pullback to start it so that you can have the momentum move forward, and then at the end it pulls back ever so slightly. So Same thing with these 3 eighth notes going into the quarter note. Maybe you take a little bit of time and push, and then time to get into those quarter notes. And then those quarter notes we're going to stretch extra long, because not only are those notes longer than eighth notes, obviously, they're twice as long, the character of those notes pulls the music back. That's a long value, so I might take even a little bit of extra time. See, I pushed that forward, took a little time there. I'll take extra time there to give some of that time back. That definitely feels like more defeat. This one, while it rested, it felt more unresolved than this one does as we come to the tonic. There. So, this concept can help give you a point of reference to know where you might push or move ahead or rush a little bit, and a point of reference where you might pull back a little bit. The shorter the note values, the more they might push. The longer the note values, the longer they might hold back. This goes back to a lesson that I still need to be reminded of myself, and that I remind students of all the time. It's kind of funny how that works. I'm always telling my students that, but then I'll go play for my teacher, Susan Dolmeyer, or Logan Skelton, or play for my beautiful wife, who's a terrific pianist. And they say, you're rushing through your rests. And it's like, oh my gosh, I tell this to my students constantly. Rests are another place. The music is resting. So rests and long note values should be at least as long as they are, and short values should be at least as short as they are, maybe a little shorter. This is one of the counterintuitive concepts in music, I would have to say. The fact, it's actually incredibly intuitive when you think of nature, when you think of how things gradually grow and gradually die away. Some things can be sudden, but even lightning, which seems like a sudden thing, has been building up. And then a sudden event occurs. So when you think about it from a nature standpoint, this is all very natural. But when you think of it from, I'm executing it with the metronome, and I'm being a good, diligent student, and I need to be even, it's actually quite counterintuitive. Remember this, just to reiterate what I just barely said. Short notes are at least as short as they are. Long notes and rests are at least as long as they need to be. So that polarizes music and creates momentum. Then when you start infusing it with rubato, and they're not all created equal. As you just heard there, this one moved a little bit more. And because this is down low, it feels like it's more defeated. I might take a little bit more time than usual. Take your time. Okay, this is such a gorgeous piece. I will cover this in a pro practice tutorial, full-length tutorial, including the danza at some point. But I hope today's concepts have helped to give you some ideas. Think over this. I was really hesitant to share this concept, mostly because I was trying to wrap my own brain around how do I present this in a way that people aren't like, well, duh, of course short values are shorter than long values. But the kicker is that the character of short notes is different than the character of longer notes. And when you start to ponder about that and say, what character does a short note have that helps it inherently create more momentum? Yes, it's shorter in value, but could I manipulate that rubato, that pushing and pulling of time on my short notes versus my long notes? That's when rubato and momentum in music will start making sense, because you'll actually have a framework. Rubato is one of the most intimidating things to learn in music. Where do you push? Where do you pull back? Hopefully today's video gives you a starting point, a frame of reference, so that you're not just lost and in the dark and saying, I think I'm imitating Cortot or Ignaz Friedman, two very free players, but then sounding strange when you go to your lesson. If any of you have any questions, my email's josh@joshwrightpiano.com. I try to answer as many of those emails as I can. If you'd like to go even deeper than this channel goes over, please check out my paid courses in the description below. I'll leave some links for those. Those go over popular repertoire and exercises in depth. There's about 500 videos in the Pro Practice course now, which is really exciting. All thanks to you guys and your support. Lastly, there's a free webinar if you'd like to check that out, containing 10 of my favorite tips to help take your playing to a higher level. One more thing, not lastly, on the last point. This is the last thing. If you don't mind subscribing and liking this video, it would be very much appreciated. Helps the algorithm to spread it to more people. Have a great week. Good luck in your practice sessions.